The labeling theory is defined as labeling someone as a criminal by a higher authority or government officials. This theory is further explained by primary and secondary deviance. Primary deviance is committing a crime and having the label deviant or criminal. Secondary deviance is recognizing that you have the label and continuing to act in deviant ways. In the film Crips and Bloods Made in America, the men interviewed told their stories about their struggles in their communities with poverty and having no opportunities to get out of that lifestyle. These men have been in prison, some multiple times, and having the label convicted felon is detrimental in turning their lives around. Recent news stories of cop shootings have caused an uproar in the media. With the victims being black males, there is a stigma or assumption that they must have past criminal records or their actions have caused their downfalls. Many groups and news outlets are trying to figure out why these shootings keep occurring. The African American community is in disarray with many of the cops not getting the punishments that they deserve. There are new movements of Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter to gain attention from the media that lives do matter regardless of race, gender, or sexual orientation.
Greensboro is just as any place when it comes to labeling. People can obtain labels in two ways: unofficially by those around them, and officially by law. In many parts of the Greensboro area, this labeling idea is subject to change depending on the place in which you reside. This is what some researchers call social disorganization, and at a theoretical level is the primary cause of delinquency. There are 5 different zones in which people reside in. Each zone is made up of different types of people living different lives. Each zone is clearly depicted in the photographs here. The central business district with little housing, the transitional zone housed with deteriorating buildings and immigrants, the working class zone with modest homes and apartments, the residential zone housed the single families, and the commuter zone, or the suburbs. These zones have been called the primary cause of social disorganization because these zones offer different resources to their community. And with the lack of resources in some communities, it causes delinquent activities to occur and leaves the door open for labeling to begin.
The video Crips and Bloods Made in America showed how delinquent boys obtain their labels and how once they get into the system and finally get out, those labels withhold them from doing certain things in society, like getting a job. Many of these delinquents wanted to better themselves and give back to those that supported them once they were released from the system, but were unable to because of the lack of opportunities given to them once back home. In Concrete Steel, the inmates wanted to find ways to give back to their community while they were in prison. So they came up with the idea to create a mural and also involve the community in creating this mural. Though the inmates struggled in the beginning with understanding that there were two sides to the story they wanted to portray, they eventually were able to work together with their community to create 2 murals to show their community that they were willing to work together and give back even though they had been confined to prison.